Hi everybody, this is Osprey from MyChartCoach.com, and in this video we're going to take a look at some more of the stocks that were in play on Friday. First up, let's look at XBIO here. Closed up 22%, so that was a really nice move. This stock has a nice uptrend going, so I like the uptrend better than the downtrend if we're trying to go long. So this was a nice bounce play. It came down here and it hit the orange line. That's the EMA 13, currently at $4. As long as that level is holding, this chart is still intact and the uptrend is strong. A close below EMA 13 would put that middle Bollinger Band at 322 on deck. Now the key level to break is this closing price on the 26. If it can close above $6, that's going to signal it wants to head higher. So keep an eye on XBIO this week for follow through. Okay, look at ACIU. Okay, this ticker symbol closed up 38%. Huge move on Friday. As you can see here, a giant white candle formed. It closed above all the moving averages. The 200-day simple moving average at 1121 is the key moving average to hold below. The closing price here in March, the high close here just above 1250 is the key level to stay above. If it were to drop below that 1250 level, it could come down there and test that 200-day simple moving average level. If you look over here in January, there was a high close here just above 1375. It's going to need to close above that level to push higher. That's going to be the big level to break. If you look here at the ACIU weekly chart, you can see here this is the complete history of the trading of the stock. It started trading over here in September of 2016. Okay, so it came down here and it formed a bottom down here in July and August of 2017, and then it's been filling the jar. It's been working its way back up here to this 1650 high close. Okay, so that's the closing price from back here in September of 2016. Right now, the big level to break is this high close resistance level from January. If there's a weekly close above 1350, that should be the signal it wants to head higher, and look for the candles to keep working their way up to 1650. Fail to break that 1350 level with a weekly close above, keep in mind that this week's candle will not set until the closing bell next Friday. Then that would signal a possible temporary top and maybe some consolidation. It broke back above that middle Bollinger Band and the 50-week moving average. As long as it stays above that green line at 1076, it should signal more upside potential. If you look here last week in July, that was the third largest volume week in the entire history of the stock. If you look back here, you have to go back to the very beginning of trading for the stock, the last time it had this kind of volume. Many times volume precedes price, so we'll see here if volume is going to push this ticker symbol higher. Okay, look at ATOS here. Okay, so this stock closed up, I don't know how to get that off of the screen. Yeah, there we go. ATOS closed up nearly 21% here, and so this chart's heating up. Notice how RSI is now at 53. It's above 50 for the first time since way back here in back in March, okay, before this big downtrend started, and so that signals the chart's heating up. You have RSI up here ready to break 80. You have the green line here crossing the red and the black line on 80x. That's a bullish crossover, okay, and also the killer the good bullish development is the close above the dotted purple line. That's the middle Bollinger Band, the 20-day simple moving average at 246. If it can stay above 246, that's going to signal the possible start of a new uptrend, and it will be in play. If it drops below 246, that will be a sell signal. Now to the upside, it needs to bust through this upper Bollinger Band. That's the purple line. It closed right at that level, and then it's all about this green line, the 50-day simple moving average at 312. If it can bust through that, it could really get moving. If it hits that level and fails to break, that would signal temporary top. If you look here at the ATOS 15-minute chart, you can see here it got above all the moving averages here. On this first candle of the day, it was above that blue line. That's a 300 simple moving average. It kept making new higher highs. Right here, it made a new high close. This was the high close early in the day. That high close signaled more upside, and then you can see here towards the end of the day, it broke out above this high close at 262, and so it's just pushing higher. As long as it stays above 260, that middle Bollinger Band is still intact, signaling the more upside potential. Okay, look at ALN here, consumer staples. Now there has been a defensive posture in the stock market, and so consumer staples sector has been heating up. There's been some sector rotation going on, and so keep an eye on the consumer staple penny stocks. Okay, this closed up 13%. It made a bullish move above the red line on Friday. That's the 200-day simple moving average at 225. If it can stay above that level, that's going to signal more upside potential. You can see it has a nice uptrend. The uptrend started here on May 21st when there was a close above that dotted purple line, the middle Bollinger Band. It got above the green and the yellow lines or gold lines. That's the 50 and 100-day simple moving averages. If it keeps holding this EMA4 at at basically 22 cents, that's going to signal it wants to keep pushing higher. It needs to break through this resistance from back here in January to get up here to this 28 level. That was the high close in January, and then just above that's the 300-day simple moving average at 30. So 28 and 30 are the targets above if it can stay above 225. Okay, look at our ARQL closed up 20% on Friday. This broke out of a sideways channel on a volume spike. So check out the volume down here. There was nice volume, nearly 5 million shares traded, and it broke above the top of this channel. There was this high close from back here in June, was the key level to break. It hit that level on the first trading day in July, and it pulled back, and then on Friday it closed above. So if it can stay above this 575 level, that's going to signal more upside potential. You want to see candles keep riding that pink line, the EMA4 at 610. You know, this chart is signaling that it wants to break out higher. You have the bullish crossover here on MACD. If you look here on the ARQL monthly chart, I had to use a monthly chart to smooth out the data from the weekly chart. You could see the next key resistance levels. Back here in 2012, there was a high close right up here at just about $8. That's going to be the next big target. There's also here at about 725, there was a high close here in 2011 in what is that, May 2011. Okay, so it's May 2011 and January 2012. 725 and $8, two big levels to break above. If it stalls out in this zone, it could go sideways. It could consolidate a little bit. If it breaks above and it closes above $8 for the month, that should signal it wants to keep pushing higher. This is a super strong uptrend. Look at this. I mean, it was down here at $1 back in November, and now it's hitting, you know, $7. So this is a huge winner this year. You know, keep an eye on it. If it can stay above the 200-month moving average at 441, that would be bullish. It's been riding the pink line here. That's EMA4 at 525 during this entire run. As long as that level is holding on the monthly chart, the signal is to keep riding. A close below would be a bearish change in trend. Okay, look at VLRX, closed up 17% today. You've got RSI up here at 58, so the chart's heating up with Fasto at 55. Last Friday, there was a bullish development. There was a close above the green line for the first time since back here in April. The green line is the 50-day simple moving average at 156. If it can stay above that level and the middle Bollinger Band there at 153, then this uptrend, you should get an uptrend going. It should push higher. It's been working on the green line. You could see here at these candles trying to get above, and they failed. Right now, it's hitting some resistance from back here. You know, you've got this high close zone here at 180. If it can push through 180, it has a good chance to run up here to the 100-day simple moving average at 212. That is the next target if it can get above 180. If it were to drop below 156, that would be a sell signal. Okay, keep an eye on BDR this week. Closed up 8% on Friday on light volume, but this stock has a history of making nice runs, and so it's quietly heating up here. It's back above the green line, which is the 50-day simple moving average at 109, and it's also back above the middle Bollinger Band at 108. And so if it can stay above both levels, it could get moving higher. It also closed above high close horizontal resistance from here on the 20th, and so the close above these three key resistance levels is signaling more upside potential. Now, if it were to drop back below 108, that would signal more consolidation. It would get back in the sideways channel. It's only an interesting play if it can stay above that 110 level. And then what you want to see now is a break above 125. And if it can get above 125, it could possibly work its way back up to the 160s. That was the high close from back here on June 4th. That is going to be the big level to break if this uptrend continues. Okay, look at EYEG. This is another one to keep an eye on. EYEG closed up nearly 10%. Exact same setup. Okay, so you have as the last stock is BDR. Not exact same, but it's a very similar type of setup. You have a sideways channel here, and then you have a break above the green line and the dotted purple line. The 50 and 20-day simple moving averages above that middle Bollinger Band at 55. If it can stay above 55, that's going to signal more upside potential. Now, this is hitting the top of the sideways channel, the high close resistance level. It's going to need to break through that. If it can get above 59, that would be bullish. and then you have this 63 level, which is another high close. And so it's all about 59 and 63. If it gets above 59 and 63 and closes above both levels this week, that should be the signal that EYEG wants to head higher. And now that it's above these moving averages, the next moving average level target would be the 200-day simple moving average at 83. That is if it closes above 63. That 63, even 64, because you have this doji right here, but this is the big zone. You can see how all the candles are all lined up in this zone here. And so if it can get above, we'll call it 64, that should be a clear signal that it wants to keep pushing higher. And one more, keep an eye on IHT. This just caught my eye. It's a very thinly traded ticker. This is kind of a lotto play. You know, it had a volume spike here. It was the biggest volume since the first trading day in June. And this could just be a total head fake, but it closed above all the moving averages on Friday. And so if it can stay above the 300-day simple moving average at 177, that's the top moving average on this chart, it should signal more upside potential. If it drops below 177, that would be a sell signal. It's only an interesting setup for the penny stock traders if it can stay above that level. And then what you'd be looking for is the candles working their way back up to these prior resistance levels, back up here to around this 230, 235 zone. The high closes here. You could possibly see it work back up to that level. You know, you have other resistance levels, of course, but the close above resistance here, above all the moving averages, is a signal that the chart could heat up. Not saying it will, it could. You have a P-star bull flip. Notice how all the green dots are above the candles until Friday. So the SAR signals stop and reverse. So this downtrend could be stopping and a new uptrend could be beginning. Same thing with MACD here. There's a bullish crossover on both time frames. So with MACD, the volume spike for this thinly traded ticker, P-star bull flip, the close above all the moving averages, RSI above 57, FASTO above 58, and then now you have plus DI pinched with ADX here. If the green line crosses over the black line, that would signal upside potential. It has all the things that you look for in a chart to heat up, so you never know. They might run IHT. Keep an eye on it. Okay, thanks for viewing this video. If you'd like to learn more about charts and technical analysis, come check out the chat. All right, thank you.